The clinic door slammed shut, and in a single second, her name vanished from the system. It was all because she touched a creature everyone else feared. A tiny alien wolf, just a baby, lay breathing only because of her hands, and in that same moment, her career died. She was a xenobiology medic on a frontier station, her life governed by strict, cold rules. Treat registered species only. Do not interfere with apex fauna. Do not waste resources. Do not show mercy. She had followed every single one of them, right up until that night. The alarm blared from the lower hangar. Cargo crews scattered in panic. Security teams sealed the massive bulkheads. In the deep shadows, near a fuel crate, she saw it, a small, trembling shape. A juvenile Karath wolf, a species listed as hostile at every stage of its life. Even the infants carried a kill-on-sight tag. The poor thing was bleeding badly. A jagged metal shard had ripped open its flank. Its eyes were open but dull with pain. There was no snarl, no threat display, just the raw agony of an injured animal. The scanner on her wrist confirmed the inevitable. It was hours from death. She stood frozen, caught between protocol and the very core of her being. She remembered her training back on Earth, the oath she took. Life first, title second. She knelt down. The wolf didn't attack, it just whimpered, a sound any vet would recognize. She carefully cleaned the wound, sealed the torn tissue, and stayed by its side until its ragged breathing slowed and steadied. Of course, security arrived late. They saw the healed flesh. They saw her hands, still red. The report was written before she could even form a sentence. Unauthorized medical action, aid to a restricted species. Immediate termination, escort, off station. She packed her things in silence. Her co-workers, people she'd shared meals and long shifts with, wouldn't meet her eyes. Some were afraid, others were angry, but not a single one of them defended her. As she boarded the shuttle, she glanced back at the hangar, wondering if the little wolf she'd saved would survive on its own. Weeks bled into months on a desolate mining moon. Nohop offers no replies to her messages. Her credentials were flagged, blacklisted. She took up manual labor, sleeping in cold, cramped quarters. At night, she dreamed of yellow eyes watching her from the dark. Then one morning, the ground shook violently. The sirens wailed once, then fell silent. A colossal shadow fell across the sky. Korath warpacks, hundreds of them, descended upon the colony. Miners ran for their lives. Automated weapons failed. The colony's walls crumpled like paper. Death followed the sound of their howls. She stood frozen in the open yard, accepting her fate. But then she saw it, a massive wolf, larger than any she'd ever imagined, with a long, faded scar along its flank. The very wound she had closed. The beast stopped just feet from her. It lowered its enormous head. It didn't attack. The entire pack halted behind it. Hundreds of pairs of intelligent eyes locked onto her. The alpha let out a low, guttural call sound that resonated deep in her chest. The meaning was unmistakable. This human was under their protection. Just as quickly as they arrived, the wolves turned and vanished back into the hills. The colony, miraculously, had survived. All because of one single life she had chosen to spare. Word spread like wildfire. The Korath had marked her as one of their own. Suddenly, everything changed. Trade routes reopened. Diplomats arrived, eager to understand what had happened. They begged her to speak, offered her titles, promotions, and apologies from the very people who had cast her out. She refused them all. She returned to medicine, but on her own terms this time. She built a small clinic at the very edge of known space. Her door was open to anyone who came seeking help, human or alien, predator or prey. Some people called her reckless, others called her a hero, but she never, for 1 second, regretted what she did that night in the hangar. She had lost a job, but she saved a life, and in the grand scheme of things, the universe noticed the difference. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and subscribe for more. We'll see you in the next one.